Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thank you.
In a nutshell, tell us your vision for Abia State.
Thank you very much. Well, Abia State is a state where I come from, and it's a state with a lot of potentials. It's a state that has been known for entrepreneurship, for industry, for trading, and for education. And my view is that we need to return to those old days where Aba used to be the center of southeastern development. The previous governments have done a lot in terms of tackling the recent problems of security, in terms of empowering the people. So my opinion is that we need to move it to the next level, and for that to happen, you know, they say that you don't give what you don't have. We need to look for the people who have it to give it. When you look at the state today, the level of unemployment is growing, and it's basically because we are unable to engage our youths. They go through school, some of them are unable to find jobs, and even those who have capacity to create jobs for themselves are unable to do that because the environment is not very conducive for that. So my view is that we need to create the enabling environment for businesses to thrive, for entrepreneurs to get engaged, and for the state to grow economically. And this is not going to be dependent on the monthly federal allocation that comes from Abuja. Abia State can be a very self-reliant state if we cross all the T's and dot all the I's. And that is exactly what I have in mind. In my own little way, we started trying as Diamond Bank. Today we are at the verge of completing the geometric power project, which is a $465 million, 141 megawatts integrated power project. When that is completed, and I believe it should happen between next month, September and October, because all the turbines are there, 4 of them. The gas pipeline, 28 kilometers, have been laid from Shell in Obibo all the way to Osisioma, where this power project is. They are just completing the panel at the Shell end. And when that is completed, it is expected that Aba and its environs would switch off from the public power supply, the PSCN, and it is going to be carved out as an island that will enjoy 24-hour supply of electricity at affordable rates. I believe strongly that when that happens, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of micro, small and medium scale enterprises, a lot of big organizations like the paper mills, the breweries, the bottling plants, and a lot of other organizations that have not been doing anything in the past will be jump-started, and the multiplier effect can only be imagined because they are going to employ secondary industries and employ a lot of people, and Aba will become that giant that has been sleeping, will be woken up. So those are some of the things that I believe that we can think about. Aba used to be known as a place where shoes were produced. I did a little study and I found that there are about 50,000 shoemakers in Ariara market alone. 50,000. And a lot of them are not doing anything. Simple logic. They are unable to produce those shoes and sell them in the market today, where imported cheap Chinese shoes are competing with them. And those shoes are produced from countries where they don't have to generate their own power, generate roads, generate security, water, and all that. So it's simple economics. The cost of production is so high, and then the price will be high. And when you go to compete in the market, you are unable to sell because the ones that are produced locally are more expensive than the cheap imported ones. And if you remember Abba shoes of those days in the 70s and 80s, if only we continued, probably those shoes will be able to compete with the Italian and the Spanish shoes today. But because we lost it, so we need to jumpstart it again. How about our tailors? I remember when I started working, there were a lot of tailoring businesses in Aba where shirts, suits were made and shipped to Lagos and beyond. Today that doesn't happen anymore. A lot of them that have remained in business have relocated. Some of them are in Lagos, some of them are in other parts of West Africa, Togo, you'll be amazed, Ghana, that's where our people are. And sometimes we don't recognize the economic impact of businesses relocating, because taxes are paid, employment is generated, and the economy of wherever they relocated to are going to be booming at the expense of where they relocated from. So I think a whole lot can be done to move our state to where it should be, which is the fulcrum of economic development in the Southeast.
In terms of security and youth unemployment, do you have any special interest or agenda for those?
Yes, like I said earlier, the government, the present government in Abia State under Chief Theodore Chendo has done very well with security. A few years ago, Abia State was simply impassable. We couldn't get there. A lot of people deserted the state, ran away, and he thought it was important to deal with the issue of security. So he committed a lot of resources and efforts and brought the security challenges under control.
Yes.
And that is the reason today why people are able to go back to the state. So for me, I want to talk about building on what has been successful, so that we don't go back to where we're coming from. And you know that two things happen with security. If you do not take care of security, you are most likely to lose every other aspect of the society, including the businessmen, including tourists, including even the people that live in the state. Some of them may begin to relocate. I have a friend who not only relocated, but relocated his father at the outskirts of Aba to Lagos. And it becomes so difficult to ask him to come back. Now, when that happens, he's relocating not just the business, but he's relocating labor. What that means is that anywhere he has moved the business to, he will start employing people around there. It's not all the people that he was employing in Aba that he will take to Lagos. So it is so important. So you find that there is relationship between security and youth unemployment. Now, if you do not do things that will encourage industry, then employment will not be generated. And when you don't have, it's a vicious circle. When you don't have sufficient employment for your youth, they find alternative employment for themselves. And this would lead to crime, it will lead to violence, it will lead to kidnapping, armed robbery, just name it, just because the place is unstable. So that reinforces the security challenge because you have many more people going into crime. So it's out of enlightened self-interest of the state and the leaders and the elites, it's important that we do everything possible to ensure that security challenges are tackled, so that people can sleep with their two eyes closed, but then so that also businesses can thrive in the face of security that is taken care of.
This is US Africa Television, Class Magazine, Nigeria 360, and Abia World E-Group. My name is Chido Nwangwu. I have as a special guest Dr. Alex Otti, the Group Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Diamond Bank, Nigeria. Dr. Otti, it's nice to have you for the second session of this interview.
Thank you very much.
In terms of your background as a financial and banking expert, some will say that you're not a politician, and some people also will argue or make the point as to whether you're willing to jump into the rough and tumble of Nigeria's politics. What are your thoughts?
Okay, thank you very much. I think they may be right if they say I'm not a typical politician. But like it's always said, man is a political animal. So to that extent, one cannot be said not to have some political experience. But in terms of standing elections or joining in elections and in campaigns, maybe I've not done that before. But also there comes a time when a society decides what it wants. And I think what is most important at this stage is a man that has capacity to deliver. So if we are looking at developing the state, if we are looking at using networks, both international and national, if we are looking at someone that has the intellectual know-how, if we are looking at someone that has the experience to run business, because I do think that at some point we need to start thinking of running states as businesses. And if the business has to be viable, there are a lot of things that you need to bring to bear to ensure that it's a viable business. I think America is a typical example. In 1905, a man called Henry Ford established the Ford Motor Company, and making very good cars. And about 50 years later, it became the #1 car making company in the US. But in 1927, he lost that position. And it didn't just go to #2, but #3. And General Motors became #1. I held sway for about 40 years before another gentleman called Henry Ford II, who is the grandson of Henry Ford, came in and introduced strong leadership and strong management. And the rest is history, because Ford claimed this position as #1. So what am I saying? I'm saying that what is important at this stage is leadership, is management, the capabilities to run government as a business. And that is the kind of thing that people like us bring to politics. I believe that we've come to a stage where we need to look at states as viable business entities. We need to push the frontiers of revenue generation internally, and that does not mean taxing people beyond their abilities, but creating the enabling environment for businesses to be attracted to the state and have them run profitably and pay taxes, pay royalties to government. And until you're able to do that, you will be living from hand to mouth. You'll be relying on the federal allocation, and those federal allocations have been dwindling by the month. And even a lot of states who are in the south, oil producing states that have a derivation and all that, today are struggling even to pay salaries. Because people have been going with cap and begging in Abuja. But then there are also a few states that have been able to improve revenue generation by some of the things they have done. And today they are relying less and less on federal allocation. So it just depends on what the state needs. If you ask me as a stakeholder, I will tell you that we've come to the level where the state should be run as a business and a viable business for that matter. That would be my take on that.
Finally, sir, there are persons who just see LXOT, the banker. What else do you do? And do you have any role models? Do you have any model that guides your actions and decisions in life? 3 questions in one.
Thank you. I'll answer them very quickly. Yes, the banker, to the extent that I've done banking all my life. But the interesting thing about banking is that no matter where you are, no matter who you are, no matter the business you do, you must encounter bankers and banking, because you do everything with money. So that exposes bankers to a lot of other areas: industry, business, entrepreneurship, oil, just name it, education, and all that. So we have, if you've done banking at the level where I've done it, then you will be exposed to virtually everything in the society. So that's number one. Number two, going to your question, is that yes, I do a lot of other things. I have a lot of hobbies. I read, I listen to music, I play squash, I go to the gym, I work out, I interact, I meet people, I enjoy meeting people, and I always have something that I'm reading. Role models, yes, a lot of them, people who have impacted society one way or the other, people who have transformed society. I may not give you names, but anybody who in his little corner has made an impact or looks towards making an impact in changing lives, in transforming lives, in making lives better for other people. Those are the role models, and I hold them in high esteem. They may be unsung, they may be unknown, they may be very small people, little people in their little corner, but those are the people that I look forward to meeting all the time.
It's nice chatting with you again. Congratulations on your service to Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
Well done. And by the way, USAfrica will turn 25 years in 2 years. This is almost our 23rd year.
Wow.
Do you have any short note on USAfrica?
I must say congratulations in the very difficult business where businesses come and go. Making 23 years and heading to 25, that's quite a feat, and I must congratulate USAfrica. I wish the team well, and I pray that they will continue doing those things that have kept them alive in the last 3 years, and they should even do it better so that the business will survive the founders. Thank you very much.
Thank you.